Hi everyone, and welcome back to Work Wired with Rich, the show where we get into the honest and filtered side of what it really takes to make work, well, work. I'm Richard Farmer, your host for Asia, Managing Director at CXC. I don't know where 2025's gone. It's gone like keep that. It's flown along. It seems like yesterday I was buying Christmas presents and now I'm buying more Christmas presents. For anyone that believes in Santa, he is real, sorry. But coming to the end of the year, so I've always thought, people strive to get to Christmas, but what happens after Christmas? What happens to those New Year's resolutions? So here joining me today is the amazing Elika. Elika I first met when our paths crossed many moons ago at Randstad when we were both recruiters. And now she's a star of wellness, fitness, and all things good about the body. So today she'll be joining us. Well, hello, Elika. Welcome to Work Wired with Rich.
Hello, super excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, me too. It's been a while. Just for all the listeners, do a bit of an introduction. Who is Elika? Tell us about you and what drives you today.
Yeah, oh gosh, I know there's like an accumulation, but I am somebody that is super passionate about everybody having the most energy that they can and being the highest version of themselves. And then really making sure that they understand all the things that impact energy. And so I've come to that way through multiple avenues, mainly from having 2 burnouts, and those burnouts really leading me to go way beyond just taking care of my physical body through diet and exercise, but really exploring my inner landscape and becoming very clear on my values, who I am, what I'm here to offer in the world, and how that I want to do that. So that journey essentially has taken me to get to create multiple different businesses, from my initial executive health coaching business to opening Singapore's first refined sugar-free whole foods restaurant, training as a chef and a barista to run that, and then starting my signature coaching program, the Health Concierge, where essentially I coach the top 10% in all areas of their life.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, what a journey so far. What's very unique about yourself, Elika, is that you've done the corporate world, you've done the entrepreneurial world, and now you're doing the health world, and that's all bringing it into one. And I think that's what was very important, coming from still working within corporate and in that environment, having someone who understands the stresses and strains what people go through. I think what's important on these kind of journeys. So when you think about people you work with, Elika, what does life usually look like when their well-being is last on their list, when they're prioritizing family, business before their well-being? What does that look like?
Yeah, it typically looks like a limited set of beliefs that keep them in a pattern that it has to be this way or it can't work. So that will look like working longer hours or working in a way that means that when they're not working, they literally feel exhausted. There's a little bit of other symptoms of that. So that can be carrying excess weight, can be anxiety, it can be lack of sleep. And generally finding that the other areas of their life are being sacrificed. So typically for me, that tends to be their relationships or their personal health. So in their relationships, there's a lack of presence because they just don't have that overflow of energy that you need, as we all know, to be present for others. And in their health and well-being, that can be lots of areas. It can be physical, it can be mental, it can be emotional.
Right. So are those the warning signs to look at, or do you see that people actually don't recognize it?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to what I had on my own journey. Remembering that I really focus on the top 10%. So we tend to have a lot of qualities that made us successful. So that tends to be things like we're self-driven, we're motivated, we have a lot of resilience, we have a lot of drive. And so it's not like we're just like trying to drag ourselves through the day every day. Like we've got like big goals and big ambitions. And so what it tends to, like the symptoms tend to be that you go for a goal, and then when you're near or you have it, you start to question if that was the right goal, because you realize that you may have it, but you don't have other things that you realize are important to you. So you may have the goal, but you may be, if you're coming home every night and having arguments every night with your partner, or you can't see your children and yet you're really successful in your career, you start questioning. If you are climbing the ladder, doing extremely well, or your business is doing extremely well and it's hitting goals that you didn't think it was achievable, but you can't sleep at night, or you're noticing that you're having to take medication for anxiety, then you start to question all of these things. So the symptoms are various. I would say the most common ones are not feeling like you're in the right size body. That can be overweight predominantly, but it can also be underweight. It can be insomnia, anxiety, And a lot of the ones that are showing up right now for my, especially my female clients, is brain fog, just not being able to remember certain elements. And most of my clients are in their 40s and 50s. So with the women, we're dealing with menopause and perimenopause as well. So all of these are typical symptoms.
How would you start to address it? Where should they start in this journey?
Yeah, I think the starting place is always to recognize what is working and what is not working. I have my own process whenever I'm starting with somebody that I call an energy audit, which is literally an assessment of every area of your life, personally and professionally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, every area where you feel there is an energy leak. And so I recommend to people to try to start off with doing that. So an energy audit might take, let's say, the 3 big buckets of our life, and they tend to be your relationships, tends to be your health, and tends to be your work. Money and purpose I pair within that. And then you assess in that where does it feel that there is something that is not feeling like it's giving you overflow, it's giving you peace in each of those areas. Now, my framework, I have my own framework, it's called the Energy Reset Recipe. So I break that down into 4 distinct pillars. So I break that down even more. I go nutrition, movement, purpose and relationships, the mind and sleep hygiene. But you can see that they still fit into health, relationships, work. So that an energy audit, you can literally take a piece of paper, you can put you can put it into 2 columns, and on each of those pillars, you can choose that format. So pillar 1, you have, like, let's say you have health, and you've got on the left side of the paper, you've got the things that are doing really, really well, and you start writing them down. And on the right hand side of the paper for health, you write down areas where you feel it could be optimized. And so essentially what you have is this list for each of those big areas for health, relationships, and work of where you are, in my language, leaking the most energy. And then it comes to, okay, what am I going to work on? And that really is essentially the next step.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that works really well for people in the corporate world because there's structure, right?
Yes.
It's there because one thing I've noticed, like if you are in social media, most people are, and Instagram, there's so much noise around. Well, there's so many drinks you can take that change the life. You can take one pill and you basically can go to the Olympics. And, you know, I mean, I think there's one of the, I see at the moment is the men, I'm not over 50 yet, but for men over 50, do Tai Chi walking.
Oh, I see that one. I'm like, what did I subscribe to?
When did I like that? I don't know. Like, someone said, like, hacked me. And it's also done by AI. But I mean, I think for that, though, for people, when you're trying to get on this journey or you're trying to do that, then we've got that starting point in your energy audit, but which of the misnomers, what just doesn't work, Elika?
Yeah.
What do people ignore, right? How do they go back to basics?
Yeah, I think the truth is that people don't realize that doctors don't agree with each other, nutritionists don't agree with each other, health coaches don't agree with each other. So for the average person trying to figure the health and wellness out, it is overwhelming. When I look at what we do with our concierge clients, I mean, I'm literally create shopping carts for them. When I'm in person with them, I literally can go to their home and recreate the kitchen for them because I know the amount of overwhelm it is to get started. What I would say is what I see mostly is that most people are either trying the right method in the wrong way, or they're doing something that could work, but it's too big for where they are right now. Like if you're like, oh, I'm going to go keto and I'm going to eat less than 100 grams of carbs a day, and your diet is the SAD diet, standard American diet. So you kind of eat more junk food, more pizzas, more chips. At least you have flour or sugar in every of your meal, right? So if that's your diet and you're going to go, I'm going to eat less than 100 grams of carbs a day, that's too extreme. So you could do it, but how long can you sustain it? Oh, you know, now the vegan diet is in, so probably I should go vegan, and you've not got any real driver to do it. Now you're not checking your blood work, so now you become nutrition deficient. It's going too extreme. So what I encourage people to do is do the things that human beings have done for thousands of years, not the last 50, right? And let the science catch up. So what are those things that we absolutely know? It's really basics. It's like getting sunlight into your eyes in as early as possible. So at least within an hour. You know, these are the basics. Eating a diet that was designed for the mammal that you are. So every mammal has a diet. A cat has a diet, a giraffe has a diet, and a human being has a diet. And a diet looks like things that were like your great grandma would have been eating. So literally they're foods that I always say would have been growing, moving in the case of animals, or in the water in the case of fish and seafood. And eat them in abundance without counting how many calories or how many macros. Just eat them in abundance and watch how your body responds to it. And then moving, like, do you move every day? Like, do you literally, whether it's it doesn't matter. Walking, we've done for thousands of years, right? You know, people want to go to the gym and get gym membership, but they can't lift their own body weight. So that doesn't make sense to me, right? You know, just walk. And then if you can add on lifting your own body weight in multiple ways, great. And then sleep, you know, so rest, like just literally we say it's between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So it's not 8 hours specifically. The science shows that it's a range between 7 to 9 hours.
What?
So sleep. So these are the basics. And then I have to add on top of that, relationships. We are social creatures. We moved in tribes for survival. It doesn't matter whether you're introvert or what. We need each other. We as humans regulate each other's nervous system. The whole idea of a parent is to teach the child what we call pair bonding, which is where the mother would traditionally in all indigenous cultures, and we used to do it, we'll put a baby on the heart. So we literally teach the baby how to regulate their emotions on a woman's heart. And the father usually goes out to hunt or whatever that looks like now. And they see that security that the mother has when the father goes and comes back, and they see that. So this is the basics of humans regulating each other. So pick which bit is like, oh my gosh, I'm really not good in that area. And just start doing the basics of that consistently for 30 days.
Yeah, I like that. Nice and simple. Going back to basics. I think eating, as you said, grandfathers or people, because genetics doesn't carry up. Immediate sapiens, all the different books and so forth. I think I'm seeing in some ways in my children because they've grown up in Asia and they're eating lots of rice. Yeah. And they're having like their tummies blown. It's because they not genetically, we didn't eat rice. Yeah. Bread, potatoes, greens, it's like different vegetables. Yeah. So we're looking at that from a dietary perspective. I really like that kind of thing about the energy linkage as well. Like, you know, how we, you know, how, what saps that energy away. And I am a true believer in that as well, that kind of coming together, speaking to your friends, socialization, having relationships is key, because it's a massive mood changer, right? You can have the worst day where everyone talks to you.
Yep. Like take it with alcohol, for example. You know how many conversations there are in my field about alcohol. I will never promote alcohol. I drink it, but I will never promote it. But the truth is, everybody knows if you have a good glass of wine or a bottle of wine, I'll admit it, a bottle of wine in good company is completely different to one glass of wine in the worst company, after work, stress, like it's completely different. Yeah. So we don't take this consideration.
And in your programs, do you work on actually, and I suppose this is going a bit in the tangent, but no, if people have negative relationships, or, you know, I've been in situations where people were having a negative relationship at work, but they congregate together, those you mentioned, then they'll drink, right? Yeah, and it would actually turn out worse. So do you talk to people about how they get positive relationships in their life, or how do they transact grief, or their, you know, better, how do they make that more positive?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my framework, right? The energy reset recipe. So pillar 3 is purpose and relationships. This is the big pillar 3 and pillar 4, which is mind and sleep hygiene. These two pillars are the biggest pillars, because my first 2 pillars, nutrition and movement, that's what most people work on, and that's where they stop. That's the mistake they make. They're working on everything you see outside, but they're not working on really their inner work. Now, relationships are the number 1 impact on our well-being, more than nutrition, more than exercise, more than even sleep. Your relationships dictate what you eat. Your relationships dictate whether you exercise or not sometimes. Whether you come home stressed and can relax your nervous system, or whether your nervous system is triggered and doesn't even want to go home. You know, your relationships are the ones that shift your belief systems to higher or lower beliefs, right? So these 2 pillars for me, when I work on relationships and purpose, and the mind, which is really your beliefs, and sleep hygiene, what I find is that the client will typically think that this is not the area that there is an issue, and they think they're going to come to me to work on like the diet and the exercise, and we spend majority of the time working through what are the relationships that feel like they're just like, I could spend so much time with this person because I just always feel good in their presence, versus we've all had them, the vampires, right? Which you just dread. And once we do that, it's a very easy exercise to actually identify. Then the true work is the removal of those relationships. Apologies if that's your children. But removal of those relationships that literally are taking space for the relationships that you truly desire.
Yeah. And I suppose one of the things is like, I've got 3 children, you come back from work, sometimes you can feel a bit selfish thinking about yourself and doing that. So what are sort of tools where you can give yourself that break or that kind of that time to either adjust to being home or, giving yourself that feeling okay about, yes, I'm actually going to go for a walk for half an hour. I'm going vampire hunting. I don't know. Well, a steak to the heart or garlic as a best. But what's the kind of tools around that?
Yeah, well, you're going to love this one because I'm going to give you permission to understand why you feel that way. But the biggest tool that I can give you is I coach men and women. And there's one very distinct difference between us that we never talk about enough in the wellness industry. And that is men work to the sun, they're solar, and women work to the moon, they're lunar. What does that mean? It means that our emotions and our hormones, which are signals from the body that manage our energy, are controlled by men in a 24-hour clock that mirrors the sun, called circadian rhythm. And women work to the moon, which is a 28-day rhythm. That means the chemistry of a woman's brain is 25% different in 28 days, and she has to manage her energy over 28 days, but a guy has to manage it over 24 hours. So in the feeling that you described is the anomaly that we're not talking about enough. Because what happens is in the 24-hour clock that a guy has, his testosterone peaks in the morning, which most men can recognize, peaks in the morning, and we start to see this dip. As the sun dips, we start to see this dip. So when a man comes home from work, ideally it's 5 o'clock, but let's be real with how it usually is today. So ideally 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, what's happening then? The sun is literally coming out of the sky. What's happening is also for the guy is his testosterone is tanking, and he's used all that testosterone to go out and hunt or work and do all the things. And then he comes in from work, and then essentially wife wants to offload or family will need to tell him all this. And his testosterone is the lowest point. So literally what he needs is the cave. Let me just get a little bit of that testosterone back up, a little bit recharged because I've used it all to hunt. Let me get that. And then let me retreat out the cave when I feel I've just been able to increase it a little bit. And that's not happening because we're not respecting each other's natural energy cycles.
No. And when you mention like the cave, what could the cave be? Could it be a walk? Could it be a third space on your way home to clear your head? Could it be like you need to do some weights? What would
exactly? All of those are brilliant. I personally don't recommend men doing a lot of heavy physical exercise in the evening because again, you don't have your testosterone on your side. So I'm more of a morning person all the time when it comes to exercise, apart from evening walks, right? But it can be find a place in your home or just outside of your home and literally create your own cave where, there's a communication, which is obviously most important to relationships. There's a communication over when I'm in this or this signals that I really need to like rebuild my testosterone or just get quiet time, right? Or it can be you look at your routine and you look at how do you come home from work. So some people have the luxury of there's a walking pathway or, maybe they can drop the car off first and then there's a path that they can take around before they're going home. But there has to be this space for you to rebuild after hunting.
Yeah. So we've been out hunting all day and then our wife or better half obviously is in this 28 day cycle. So how the two big questions, probably good information for myself. Yeah. How do I identify that the right time?
Yeah.
Or how they are feeling, but also how for our, female leaders listening as well, how do they recognize when they need to go into their case?
Yes. So day one of that 28 day for a woman, because I say 28 days like we're binary, but clearly women are not very binary. We're not black and white in any way, shape or form, but we just use this as a guideline. But day one starts the day that a woman is bleeding. So when she's menstruating, and if she doesn't, let's say she's post-menopause, then she still uses the new moon or the full moon to govern that. And so what you've got essentially then is our 4 seasons. And the first one that starts therefore is winter. So for most women, that can be between 3 to 6 days. Again, every woman is slightly different, so they have to record their own. But is 6 days. So winter is, what do you think of when you think of winter? You think of hibernation. So winter is our cave time. So don't bother me. Take the children, please. Just let me do self-care. You can book your beauty appointments there and just get pampered. But that's what winter is. Give me as much chocolate as you can. Make sure it's over 80%. So I get magnesium to relax my system, not sugar to spike my blood sugar, and all of that. That's winter, right? So what comes after winter, right? So spring. So spring is a time where it's new beginnings, it's creativity. Our brain is wired for new ideas. And now you want to talk about this new project that you want to start me with. If you're my boss and you're male, right? Yeah, I'm happy. You tell me all the things that you just learned on your management training course. I'm happy to hear it, right? So all of that. Oh, you want the kids to start another new exercise regime? Okay, let's do it. So this is spring. New ideas, we're open. And summer. Everybody, what do we think about when we're summer? We're out, we're enjoying. For a woman, the hemispheres of our brain are really optimized so that estrogen, which is our extrovert hormone, is high. And so when estrogen is high, our communication skills are heightened. You want me to speak to the board? I'll do it. You want me to do that presentation? Go for it. You want me to go on a networking event? 5. This is the time. You want to have that difficult conversation with me? Communication skills are heightened. Have any conversation with me when I'm in summer, because all I want is to, I've got the feeling of summer, sun, ice cream, swimwear. That's the feeling that we've got. And then, of course, after that, we go into autumn. And autumn represents that shedding. The leaves are shedding. Think of the squirrels gathering the nuts, preparing before hibernation. So it's more of a completion of the tick list getting done. Now, this autumn, just so you know, is when we have our biggest cravings. It's when we prepare for winter. And this is the moment where hormones are tanking. So this is not a good time to have good conversations. It's not a time to increase my workload. It's not a good time for you to add things onto my to-do list, because that was summer. That's when I did it all. This is for me to complete and to wind down. So for companies also that are thinking about offering flexible working hours for both men and women, which I think is important. But for women, you might want to understand when the women's luteal phase is, also known as, also I call autumn, because this could be a great time for them to take 1 or 2 days to actually prepare so that winter isn't as painful. And so you can see, and obviously there's a lot of biology that I haven't talked about that mirrors the reason why we have those phases. And of course, with my clients, I personalize that. So I know exactly what those dates are. And then I personalize it based on what they work, what they eat, and how they exercise in each of those seasons.
Wow. It's exceptionally high, everything. I just don't know why that's not plotted in our diaries.
Yeah, see, well, it's
I'm just gonna tell Anna that I'm, gonna go start mountain biking, in 49, and then no, it's autumn. Are you crazy? You just wait 6 days and wait
exactly
in summer. No one knows the spring and summer stuff. And just have have the fridge stocked full of 80% chocolate. Yeah, it'd be perfect. Yeah.
See.
Yeah, I mean, I think that none of you men have their man cave, but it's probably used at the wrong time.
Exactly.
But it's so true. The way the body's, I exercise in the morning. By the night, I'm done. And I suppose, just follow those rhythms, right? We are animals. We're not actually that old.
That's it. Make it easy for us.
Make it pieces. So I mean, there are those. I mean, great tools to really just kind of understand, but not just yourself, but your partner, about how to do things. But I love that. Applying to a work context, so when could be the right time to do things, when could be the right time to push people out of their comfort zone. I suppose that's exceptionally key. So I mean, it does sound like that we are kind of like vampires. We have caves, and men shouldn't go out at night. Women should go and hibernate in their lady cave. But it's just crazy. And you kind of mentioned the diet and how that all kind of revolves in, but also alcohol. You did mention, and I'm probably should look at that, because as leaders, we're coming into silly season, right? So, and not just leaders, just people at work. You're gonna have Christmas parties. You're gonna be families parties. You're gonna be meeting. I can remember, when we worked in the executive surgery, the amount of drinks you used to have before.
Yes.
How do we manage that? How do you manage our energy levels and our relationships through this crazy festive period?
Yeah, and let's be honest, it's tougher. But what I always say is, especially high achievers and are never going to have periods of time when there isn't a seasonal occasion, whatever it is, Christmas, Diwali, whatever the season is, where there's not going to be a party, where there's not going to be a meeting or a work event, or whether there's not going to be a family occasion. This is, to me, this is life. And I think this is why I'm definitely on about 10 years of being able to sustain living this way, because I'm very much about if it's not realistic and that it's not sustainable. And so what I see about this season is it's a time to practice what could you do all year round, not like how do I get control over this thing? But like you, in the busiest times, like in the war, that's when you really understand what tools you've got that really work. So I would empower people to look at this time as an opportunity to go what sticks and what doesn't, rather than wait until January. So what does that look like? For me, there's some very small things. So I'm going to give you some of my biohacks because I'm really into longevity. So one of them, for example, is green tea extract. So we look at the Japanese as one of the models and pillars of health, although that's changing as they move to standard American diet. So as you know, Japanese drink green tea, and now matcha is exported all over the world. But green tea, and there's an extract in green tea that you can just buy in capsule form, so green tea extract. And we can take that. And what that does is it helps speed up the body's metabolism. So the body's pathways generally to speed up our energy. And that can help to speed up our body's ability to detox the toxins of alcohol. Alcohol, whether we like it or not, is considered as the body as a toxin. So I like to take green tea extracts before I go out drinking. Then at night, when I get in, I take milk thistle, which all plants, all food comes from plants originally, but all plants are medicine. So you want to know their medicinal properties. So milk thistle was a plant that was really used for the liver. And the liver is our disposal system, takes out the rubbish. And clearly it removes toxins from the body. So what we're doing here is we're being clever. We're speeding up the body's ability to remove the toxins, and then we're giving the organ that supports the toxin removal extra support. So that's one of the things that I do without changing even what I drink. The second thing that I do before I change what I drink is I consume more water, because if I consume more water, my body's more hydrated. My body can use its fluids to also flush out more. I also find then that I'm not drinking because I'm actually thirsty. Most of the time, we're not drinking alcohol because we just enjoy this beautiful French red wine. We're drinking because social pressures, stress, dehydration, all of these things. So I like to drink a glass of water. And for me, so I feel like it's a treat, it's sparkling water with a slice of lemon or lime, which also has the detox pathway to it. So a sparkling water between every alcoholic drink. This is before even changing what you drink. Okay, and you know that you could do that, especially Christmas dinners where you're sat around table, there's always water on the table. So just drink the water between every alcoholic drink. And then I tend to, from there, go into what we're drinking. So the worst and easiest drink you can have is beer. Beer is just like I always say to clients that, we don't remember who used to have grains. Traditionally, thousands of years, grains were given to poor people and the animals, right? So poor people and animals who were the ones that were consuming grains. And because grains were so cheap, you did many things with it, like turn it into beer, right? And ferment it. And so do you really want to be drinking the poorest man's drink if you don't need to? Now we just drink it as standard. That doesn't make sense for so many of us. So let's upgrade our drink a little bit from beer. And let's drink good wines. My favorite drinks, honestly, out for alcohol are the ones that are less tampered with and really clean. So I like mezcal, I like tequila, I like sake, and I go like that. I like premium or boutique wineries. These are the things that I do. So just upgrade your drinks rather than, just go for the sugar. And to me, beer is just there's just no reason to drink it in the modern day world as a working professional that wants to take care of themselves.
Yeah, I hear you, but why do they make it taste so good? Chris, yeah. But there it goes down to when you're in say Singapore, Dubai, and it's hot, so you want something cold. But instead of going that, go for a mineral water, right? They can do that. But you've heard it.
Even go for cider over beer. Like, or my favorite drink, if you can get it, is mead. Do you remember mead?
Yeah, it was made by monks in medieval.
Right? This what? Right? So you have honey mead. It's literally fermented honey. Like, you just remember that when you ferment something, you introduce good bacteria. So it's not so bad. But like grains that are like covered in chemicals, and then like introduce gluten, which some people have issues with gluten, some don't, but it's more the chemicals that be sprayed on the wheat, and then you're literally consuming it in larger amounts because you're drinking it. It doesn't make sense for the average person that wants to feel good.
Yeah, feel good, lose some weight, and do this. And you've heard the milk thistle is the new kebab. It does. The sun's on the way, Harry. Have milk thistle and have green tea matcha. Was it green tea extract on the way there? Well, if you were just drinking green tea, it's just more. Is it just green tea have the extract or not enough of it?
Yeah, it does. So you can drink. I mean, like again, like if you know that you're going out in the evening, you're working through the day or whatever you've got through the day. That day, drink green tea all throughout the day. I'm very much about creating habits that are easy to stick and realistic. So I know if you're going out, you can quickly put those green tea capsules. You can just take them quick go. Whereas if I say to everyone, drink a cup of green tea before they got, some will do it, some won't, right? But yeah, for those that are going to go all in, I'm going out that night, drink green tea all day, right? And drink green tea all day anyway.
Put some vodka in it, and then it's a delicious green. Perfect.
But that's the good point as well. Like, Rich, when I'm having my cocktails, I also think medicinally. So one of the things that I love is, for example, I'll have 1 or 2 drinks when I go out. I'm real lightweight now, but I love a good Negroni. And Negroni has that bitters in it. And when you have the bitters, just so you know, bitters is the food for the liver. So like...
aperitif, isn't it? That's what I think, you have 4 of those at the start. And then you're just ready for the rest of the thing. But yeah, it's good. I do like a good Negroni.
And Aperol Spritz is why we're going.
Yeah, Aperol Spritz or pure sugar. But that's an aperitif too.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got some tips over the Christmas period. We kind of got some things. What would be for people that just are struggling to take a break, to actually give themselves that time off? Like I even do it myself. Like you say, I want a holiday. Do people actually have a holiday, right? I still want to check emails. The world doesn't stop over any kind of break. So how do we stop, reset? What's a good kind of idea around how do we take a break?
Yeah, I call it the sacred pause. It's like you can't take a break, but you need to tell the nervous system that it gets to have a break whenever it wants. And the sacred pause is known as breath work. Right, so we have to breathe, and most of us don't know how to breathe because we breathe through our mouth when we're supposed to breathe in through our nose. So there's a whole chemistry around what's happening there, but essentially what we're trying to do is tell the nervous system that it's regulated by sending it into rest and relax and not fight or flight. So 1 deep breath can do that. Now, the practice that I teach is called 4-7-8, because again, I like to teach habits that are sustainable, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 7 seconds, and you breathe out for 8 seconds. So you do the maths on that because that's not my thing. But if you do that for 3 sets, you've got a minute, which is my sacred pause. And so then I go, how do you build this into your life? Well, in the morning, most people will go to the toilet in the morning. So do your sacred pause in the morning. It's a minute. If you haven't got a minute, then you really need a holiday. So then think about how many times do people go to the toilet through the day. So you've got at least 3 occasions that you might be able to do your sacred pause, and you can do it at night before you sleep. And this can be something also, with my families, when they introduce things like this to the kids, I friggin' love it because the kids start reminding you. So we go, okay, guys, let's do the sacred pause together. And you teach kids how to do that. Like literally teaching your children how to regulate their nervous system from a young age. Once they do a sacred pause and they know how it feels in the body, for the body to just immediately have access to more oxygen. So the brain is sharper like that. It's free. You can do it anywhere. You can do it anytime. And then you also have told your nervous system what it feels like to be relaxed. What actually happens is the habit. So you want to get this to a habit of 30 days. So at least twice a day, 4-7-8, twice a day. Then you get that to 30 days. And then what actually happens is, as soon as your body goes into this fight or flight, it's like, oh my God, I just got to do. You start noticing this feels really icky. Like when you haven't drank alcohol for a month and then you drink and you're like, oh my God, what happened to me? that's what happens when you practice the sacred pause all the time. Being like too like tense and being like too go without any break starts to feel uncomfortable. And once that happens, if you feel uncomfort, you don't have to use willpower to power through, because willpower goes the moment you have peer pressure or a boss that wants you to do extra.
Oh. So the sacred pause, say that's 4 breaths in through the nose, 7 seconds out.
Holding. Yeah.
8 on the way out.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah. So let's do it together. It's easier. So everyone that's listening, if you're watching, we'll count this in. So you want to first just remove any oxygen from your lungs just by doing a quick exhale. Then you want to breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathe out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know if you were doing it, Richard.
Really? I was doing it. I nearly fell out.
Okay. I want to see more. Well, not through the mouth. I want to see more with the nose. Like,
Okay.
hold. And then. So that's how it would look like, obviously, to the pace. And 3 times.
You're breathing it out through your mouth.
Yes. So in.
Is that similar to box breathing?
Yes. So basically, we have these different breath works that are designed to do different things. So, with box breathing, that method is more even for every breath. They just give you different things. So, of course, if we want to have energy quickly or we want to be stimulated, we go, right? But that's the fight or flight breathing, right?
Yeah.
So what we are doing here is calming the nervous system by having a longer out breath than our in breath. And we're oxygenating the whole body, getting instant free energy like that in that hold. When you breathe in and you hold for 7 seconds, you'll notice all of the oxygenating your brain, every cell in your body gets oxygenated, and the breathing out tells the nervous system that's like, oh, well, if you've got this much time to breathe out, then clearly you're not running from a tiger. Clearly everything is good. So that's the signal.
So perfect for clearing the mind, but also between meetings or, after you've had a hard conversation or you walls up, just go away and kind of sit down and do it. Yeah. I think focusing on your wellness, focusing on your well-being, everything else will come. But Elika, it's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you. Yeah, I'm taking some things away. First is I'm going to leave my office and build a cave. I'll be in. I'll have to tell my team I'll be in my cave from 5:30 to 6. Rejuvenate like Superman. Yeah, I'm waiting for summer. I'll come out in spring. I'll be ready for summer. So I'll let my wife know that. So that'd be good. But I always like to ask, so how do people contact you? Because I think now is the time for people that really, any time of the year is a good time to start. Don't wait. Like, how do they reach out to Elika? How do they get to follow you and find out more about what you're doing? Because I think it's exceptionally important, but also very interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm on every single platform. So LinkedIn, Instagram. I created a YouTube channel of longer videos. But the best place is probably my website, which will point you to all of those, elika.co. And for companies, for wellness programs, we have the corporate page there so they can look at. We deal with a lot of hospitality brands now, F&B luxury brands here in Dubai. And obviously I'm covering from Dubai, I'm covering Singapore, and I'm covering Europe with a lot of clients. For individuals, they will see the human design readings that are available on the website at elika.co, and you'll also see the details of the application for the health concierge is available on elika.co. So I'd go to elika.co.
So fantastic. They go to your website, you could work globally, that you can see Elika, meet her in person if you're in Dubai, whenever we go through. But as I said, an absolute pleasure. I think it's been one of the highlight podcasts so far at Work with Rich.